All right, so I'm going to start this out by saying I had a bearded dragon. I bought a case of 500 of these like mealworms. It was like the large mealworms. So I bought this box of them. I left it in the bedroom that her and I were sharing at my parents' house. I left to work. I left to work right before she got home, about maybe an hour. So I go to work, normal work day for me. This one comes home from school and
So I come home from
Get
school.
closer.
So I come home from school and I walk in, check on Rick, do the normal, like I usually do. And I see his box of mealworms, and on the side there's a hole where they had chewed through, where at least half of the box was just mealworms coming out and coming out. And it was scary. I would not touch these worms. I was kind of afraid of Rick at the time. Well, I had just gotten used to Rick, basically. So touching these worms was obviously a no-no. So I ended up dumping the rest of the box in with Rick, and he had a field day. He loved me after that. And then I tried getting them all up. It just did not work. The vacuum was not getting them all up. And then somehow...
you tried to vacuum them.
Somehow, even months later, I thought I had gotten all of them, I was still pulling them out of my carpet. We were moving, and I still pulled couples out of my carpet. And this was, what?
Like a year later?
Literally like a year later. They were obviously dead by this point, but the fact that they just had buried themselves underneath the carpet, and, it was weird. I'd be walking in my room, and I feel something. I was like, that's weird. And I look, and it's a freaking worm. I'm like, what the H?
Dude, you screamed because Mom called me. So our mother calls me and goes, your fucking worms ate their way out of the box. And your sister screamed, and there are worms climbing on her fucking ceiling.
Yeah, that was the worst part. I don't even know how they even... I don't know how they got up there. Like, my closet was weird in the room, so there was like a little space between the roof and the closet. They were up there too. I don't know how the freak they got up in there. They were in my closet, underneath our bed, which our bed at the time was literally a box spring on the ground with two mattresses stacked on top of each other. There's no way they could have gotten that. They got in between the freaking mattress and the box spring.
They were literally fucking everywhere. Like, there was, like, it was like in an hour, they had just gone everywhere. And by the way, Rick was a bearded dragon, just to be clear. But yeah, no, she was horrified. I got the call. I had to come. When I came home from work, she was still trying to get all these out. We had to sleep in the living room for like a week because we were trying to get all these fucking goddamn worms out of the room. Because if you tried to take a nap in the room, they'd fucking crawl on you while you were sleeping, and you were like, son of a bitch! And they feel terrible on your skin. She kind of hated me after that and was like, don't buy in bulk anymore for him. But I was like, but it's cheaper.
It was way cheaper. Like, oh my god. Freaking, I would not take a sleep in there. I have this thing about bugs being near my ears, and I was too afraid one of them bitches was gonna crawl on my ear and legs, and then I was gonna have them start coming out my ears. No, that was not happening. I was like, couch it is for me. Like, Rick was fine. He was enjoying all of his freaking, I don't know, 250 freaking worms. He was just eating. He was fed for days after that, but.
Well, and the crazy thing is that when the dragon was out and about with us and we were in the room with him, none of the worms got near us because anytime one would get like within a 5-foot radius of us, he would find them and eat them immediately. So like it was cool if the dragon was out, but if the dragon wasn't out, you were not safe. No, you were not safe.
You were not. Your shoes weren't safe. Your clothes weren't safe. Nothing was safe. You'd leave clothes on the ground maybe for 5 minutes. You'd pull them up and then just a couple of them would drop. Like, the hell? Excuse me.
Oh my god, the crickets. The crickets that somehow would magically fucking escape this dragon's cage. And it was, and I do mean fucking magic.
Like, he would have a hard time trying to eat them, so there's no way he would eat all of them in the time that they had just all disappeared. And then, like usually a couple of nights later, we'd hear crickets, and there'd be no crickets in the cage.
And we would get up and tear apart the room. Try and find these fucking crickets. And they were the small crickets, so they were fucking harder to find. And these crickets would chirp, 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 chirp all fucking night long. And would not shut the fuck up. And you're just literally, like, you would hear one or both of us being like, shut the fuck up! To these fucking crickets. Because we're both like, oh my god! And, like, this poor bitch would lose so much sleep before school. I would lose half my night's sleep before work. And we both were like, after a while, I stopped getting him crickets. Because I was like, fuck the crickets, bro. Fuck them crickets. Real hard.
Yeah.
So, that was our adventures with escaped insects from feeding my bearded dragon.
He was a great bearded dragon, though. You know, he saved us from worms a lot.
And mosquitoes.
Yeah, and mosquitoes. He loved my window. I had big old bay windows. I'd open them up for him. I think that's why he protected us. He's like, oh yeah, I got you bitches.
Dude, that bearded dragon, if you were having an anxiety attack, would try to climb out of his cage to get to you.
Literally.
To come settle you. Like, he was like, no, you can't be like this. Here, Paige. And if you were crying and he was with you, like, if I was having a really bad day and I was crying and she'd pull him out for me, he'd come up and lick my tears. And he'd be doing all kinds of shit, trying to get my attention, trying to get me to focus on him. Same thing with her. If I handed him to her, like, one of the best animals I've ever owned, and he was my rescue. And he was amazing, and I can't wait to own another one. And I'm probably going to rescue another one if I get another one. But that is the story of the escaped insects that Rick did not manage to get all of.
I wish he did, honestly. And tips for owning a bearded dragon. Don't stop their TV show. They will be pissed at you.
Oh my god. This bearded dragon, I kid you not, I had to literally, when I woke him up in the morning, or he would be cranky, and she had to do the same thing. She had to wake him up. I used to have to go, good morning to you. The birds are chirping, chirping every fucking morning. Or he would be grumpy. He had a morning routine. He was so finicky, but I loved him to death. Much light, love, and positivity to you all. I will not see you tonight because this bitch is throwing me an early 30th birthday party. But I will see you tomorrow night. I hope you guys will have a wonderful day.